The New York Knicks got some unfortunate news when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns and his injury. Reminder, in that loss that the New York Knicks suffered on Monday to the Detroit Pistons, Karl Anthony Towns had a thumb injury, and it started to really bother him throughout that game. And he actually ended up missing the game on Wednesday at Philadelphia. And it sounds like he has a chipped bone and a sprain. Caused him to miss the game. We'll tell you how much and how certain it is that he may be missing more time. First, though, show him some love. Type those 32s in the chat. Type those 32s in the chat. Show him some love. We need you back, Karl. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We're going to recap the win that the New York Knicks had on ESPN over the Philadelphia 76ers that they had to pull out in overtime. First, though, I want to talk about the news that surrounds this organization, and that's Karl Anthony Towns, his injury, and how bad that thumb is hurt. Stephen Bondy, who covers the Knicks for the New York Post, tweeted out a injury update that says news tests on Karl Anthony Towns' thumb, not wrist. He had a typo. Thumb revealed a bone chip in addition to the sprain, the Post has learned. Surgery isn't necessary, and the plan is for Towns to play with the chip. He isn't available tonight, Wednesday night against the Sixers, because of swelling from the sprain and is considered day-to-day. I'm old enough to know that you should never, ever trust a Tom Thibodeau-led team with injuries that say day-to-day. Because Mitchell Robinson was day-to-day, Julius Randle was day-to-day, OG Anunoby was day-to-day, and none of those injuries were day-to-day. But I really do hope Karl Anthony Towns' injury is not serious. Because if it is serious and Cat's out for a while, this team is fighting an uphill battle. He has been a top 10 player in the NBA this year, in my opinion. He deserves to be in the MVP conversation. And this Knicks team needs him. Barely could pull out a win against the Embiid-less 76ers. They got smoked by the Orlando Magic when he missed the game a couple of weeks ago. And this team will go as Cat goes. His ability to stretch the floor opens up their offense, allows more motion, it allows more backdoor cuts, and it allows more attempts at the rim. They need him out there. He's been awesome this year, averaging 25 and almost 13 rebounds per game. Shooting north of 50% from the field and almost 45% from three. It's almost 14 rebounds per game now at this point. The Knicks need Karl Anthony Towns healthy if they want to do the things that they think and we think that they can do. You want to secure a home playoff series in round one, you got to be a top 4 seed. And you can't afford to go on a losing streak if Towns is out. I don't love the idea that he has a bone chip in his hand. They say it's day-to-day, and they say it's the sprain and the swelling that held him out of the game on Wednesday. I'll believe it when I see it. They play Friday, then they play Monday. Let's see how many games Karl Anthony Towns ends up missing for this basketball team. Coming up next, we're going to break down the win against the Philadelphia 76ers, a win that never should have been that close, a win that never should have went to overtime, and another game where the Knicks could not close the door in the clutch. Frustrating, but a relief that they won. We'll tell you more about that game in a second. First, though, I got to give a huge shout-out to our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking for the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed, you got to check out our proud sponsor, Game Time. The NFL playoffs are here, and you're going to get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed for the playoffs with our proud sponsor, Game Time. I've been to a playoff game before. I've gotten my tickets through Game Time, and it was my best experience using any ticketing app. I've used them all, and I'm an only Game Time guy now because they are the best. Shout out to Game Time. It's more than just NFL playoff games, though. You can go catch a Knicks game. You can go to a concert. You can go to a theater event, and so much more. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. They guarantee you get the lowest price, and they make it super easy to make it happen because the app is user-friendly. You get to see your seat view in the app. You get to access your tickets from your phone, and it's easy to resell your tickets if you no longer want to go to the event. Use that all-in pricing feature. Use that Game Time Picks feature, and you're going to lock yourself into the best price, and you're going to make it that much more easy to go see your favorite people perform. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It's game time. Support the show. Support the sponsor. Be a real one. The New York Knicks are able to get back on the left side of the column after they lost on Monday night to Detroit by beating the Philadelphia 76ers 125-119. A game that the Knicks were once up by 15 in that second quarter. They go into halftime up 13. But what was once a third quarter of boom for the New York Knicks. They were once the best net rating team in the third quarter late in December. In January, they have not been good in the third quarter, and they allow 38 points to the Embiid-less Philadelphia 76ers. They shot the cover off the ball, though, tonight, and that's a large reason that they won. They made 16 threes. And coming into the night, the New York Knicks, when they make 12-plus threes, are almost unbeatable. They get to that number tonight, and they get back on track shooting the basketball. Unfortunately, they didn't defend the perimeter all that well. Philly ends up shooting 13 of 35 from three, 37% from distance. Over the last 12 games or so, the Knicks have been allowing teams to shoot 39% from three. That number there, the Knicks have to get better at defending the perimeter. But coming into tonight, the New York Knicks were 21-4 when they made 12 threes in a game. That now improves to 22-4. The Knicks, though, did blow another fourth quarter lead. They were up by 7 points with 7 minutes to go. And they found themselves in a clutch time game, which is defined as a 5-point game with 5 minutes to go. Entering the game, the Knicks were 6-7 in those ball games. They have struggled to close teams out. They have struggled to play sharp basketball down the stretch. This team has not yet learned how to win tough games. They didn't do it against the Pistons, and they didn't do it again tonight until they blew them out in overtime because Jalen Brunson went Super Saiyan mode. At the end of the day, they need Jalen Brunson to take care of the basketball down the stretch. He had a clutch time turnover against Detroit that cost him. He had a clutch time turnover tonight in Philly that made this game go to OT. Thank God he was unstoppable at putting the ball in the basket tonight, though. 38 points, 63%, 38 points on 22 shots, 50% from three. Jalen Brunson was magnificent on offense and scoring. But he had a late game turnover, and he also had a possession where he was the inbounder on the baseline, and it turned into a turnover. Josh Hart, if it wasn't for him, this team would have got cooked tonight. He was the heart of the city, and you got to have Hart. Another triple-double. He's got more double-doubles this year than he has in any year in his career, and he's already set his season-high triple-double number as well. He's been the most consistent Knick this year, struggling from three last 10 games, shooting like 30% from downtown. Need him to tighten that up. But overall, he gave you a great game. Once again, had clutch rebounds and steals down to the wire. Mikal Bridges shot the ball great again. He had been struggling coming into the game on Monday, but against Detroit and against Philly, he was really good from three, 50%. He was 4 of 9 from the two-point land. Overall, good game for him. I thought OG Anunoby was horrible tonight. I thought his effort sucked. I thought his body language sucked. He hit a clutch three in the fourth quarter that gave the Knicks the lead, but the game ended up going to OT, and he couldn't really get a stop down the stretch. I don't know what's going on with Anunoby. I'm not exactly sure, but he's not on his A game right now, and it just is what it is. I want to talk a little bit about Tom Thibodeau. I thought that he didn't coach that well of a game today, and overall down the stretch, I don't feel like Tom Thibodeau has been a difference maker of a coach for the New York Knicks in the clutch time. The Knicks had 3 out-of-bounds inbound plays not from the baseline, 3 out-of-bounds inbound plays, 3 ATOs, 0 buckets, 2 turnovers, 1 shot. 1 shot. And that 1 shot was after a timeout with 3.7 seconds left to go win the game after you let Tyrese Maxey out of a timeout by Nick Nurse go coast to coast and lay it up with no defense. So bad defensive game planning after the out-of-bounds timeout for the Sixers, which tied the game. Then you get the ball with 3.7 seconds left, and you have no creativity. You have to force it past OG Anunoby, and he has to take a step back 2 over a contested defender. So, again, 3 out-of-bounds timeout sets for the Knicks. Turnover, forcing the ball to Josh Hart. Turnover by Jalen Brunson, getting his pocket picked. And then you essentially have a turnover from OG Anunoby where he throws up a chuck and heave at the buzzer. Got to be better. Everyone down the stretch in these ball games. But you found a way to win. And that's awesome. You played great in OT. Jalen Brunson came out and got you a win. I'm happy about the win overall, and I get it. It's the NBA. But this is a game that never should have went to overtime. 15-point lead in the third, 13-point lead in the third, 7-point lead with 7 minutes left. You got to win these close games, and you got to close these teams out. I'm actually glad this game came down to the wire because the Knicks have only played 14 games in clutch time situations. They need more reps. They need to be more battle-tested because right now this team hasn't found a solution yet to consistently win those tight games. If you're happy about the win, though, I know I am. I'm hitting that thumbs up icon. Join me in doing so. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_. Hell of a game by Brunson. Hell of a game by Josh Hart. And a hell of a game by Miles McBride. We didn't talk about him. He was awesome, though. I thought he should have closed the game over Anunoby. Was 3 of 4 from 3. I think 4 of 5 from the field. Big game from Deuce. Needed it. Back on track. Let's go, Knicks.